Good afternoon. My name is David Rodas, and the article that I will be discussing is the U.S. is in a Cold War with China over Taiwan, and it connects to the current event that I will be discussing today. And it discusses the conflict between China and Taiwan and how the U.S. could be involved. This whole situation is somewhat reminiscent of the Cold War that the U.S. once had with Russia. And a line that connects that is, however, an escalating trade war, differences of opinion regarding Taiwan, and opposing views on the Russia-Ukraine conflict have all contributed to the increasing tense relationship between the United States and China. This puts into perspective just how big this conflict could be if it kept on going on, as if it keeps on progressing, as the danger level could lead to a certain war that we would all not like to see. And as stated late last week, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken traveled to China to meet with President Xi and China's foreign minister. President Xi said that the two countries should be partners, not rivals. But a growing trade war, differing opinions on Taiwan, and opposing views on the Russian-Ukraine war have only further contributed to the sharp tensions between our two countries. First and foremost, as said right here, how to deter China from invading Taiwan, and joining us now is Mr. Petru Alperovich Dmitry. Thank you so much for joining us. And he once again states that just last week, China described that they'd like to have a peaceful reunion with Taiwan. However, in response, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said that the U.S. continues to pursue the One China policy and does not support Taiwan's independence. Um, Basically, the One China policy means that we are for the status quo. We're not for forceful reunification or unification with Taiwan, or else do not support Taiwan's declare independence. This has been our policy for 50 plus years. However, China is the one that is trying to break the status quo. They are the ones gearing up for invasion, training the military for this. Similar to what Russian President Vladimir Putin did in the Ukraine. Yeah, so it's just reminiscent of that whole Ukraine and Russia war going on, just adding more tension to the U.S. and how we could possibly get involved in that war. And the United States certainly seems to be in a better place than China, but what do we need to do in order to really try to deter them from invading Taiwan? Basically, what can we do to try and to evade that whole possibility of going into war? And well, I believe that there are two things here. I believe we're in a Cold War with China, Cold War II, as you could say, and that is remarkably similar to the first Cold War, as I stated before. Basically, we're somewhat in that whole state that we were in the first Cold War, where we don't know if we're going to go into war, and there's always that possibility of it. And we're just trying to see how we could evade that whole process. But right now, we're like in the very early stages of that. So, yeah, hopefully nothing else comes through this. And that is a current event that I've been discussing. And yeah, thank you for listening.